getting started. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you may be seeing this, you are here with me, Jermaine Jackson, for another installment of the Celebration of Excellence. And I want you all to know that I have an amazing guest on today. I met this young lady doing my time of work with the state of Illinois, and I met this very special young lady. And what I found out about her, not only was she a great state worker, and she just celebrated 21 years with the state, but she has this whole other outside things that she does that I want to promote, that we want to talk about today. So my special guest on today, she is a wife, she is a mother, she is a daughter, and so much more. She is a certified TRX suspension trainer, Zumba and strong trainer. She is doing her Zumba classes out of the Hammond Family YMCA. So if you have not seen her live sessions, if you have not seen her dance and her fitness and her moves, and we're going to talk about all of that in depth. I don't want to give too much away. I want to introduce to some and present to other Miss Crystal Lamb. Crystal, thank you for being a part of the Celebration of Excellence.
Well, thanks for having me. It's an honor, Jermaine. Thank you.
Yes. So as I said, we met working for the state. We were both there as supervisors. A lot of what I learned during my time there came from this young lady. She was an awesome trainer, great personality, very motivational, very encouraging person, very knowledgeable of her job. But that's about the work stuff. What we want to promote is what this young lady, and I do call her young because I think she is young, no matter what her age is.
Exactly.
We want to talk about her as a Zumba instructor because when I see people that are so passionate about something that they love to do outside of their work, I just get intrigued by that because it's easy to go do the 9 to 5, go home, take care of your family, and nothing's wrong with that. But it's great when you have a passion outside of work. And so, Crystal, as we begin this interview and this discussion, the first thing I want to ask you, when did you fall in love with dancing, fitness, is working out? When did you first fall in love with all of this?
Okay, so my father was a musician, still is today. He played every instrument. So I was just musically inclined out the womb. Okay, so, but I remember as a young girl, me and my best friend, who was my neighbor, we used to gather in her driveway and choreograph dance routines with all the latest music and all the latest moves. And then we would kind of battle the other girls in the neighborhood. At the end, it turned into a hair throwing battle, but hey, it is what it is. But I believe that's where it all began. I had my 2 children later on in life, and I got a little hefty. So I decided to start going to the gym. I started doing like fitness classes and kind of strength training on my own. I never did personal training. I just did like my own personal kind of fit journey. I started out in the back of the classroom, just watching and trying. And then as I got a little more comfortable, I started to move closer to the front. As I started to move closer to the front, the instructor noticed me. She said, "Oh, you got good form. I think you would be great. Could you like join our team?" And at first I was hesitant, and then I was like, "Why not? It'll keep me in the gym. It's something I like to do. I enjoy it. I like the information about it all, not just the movement of it all. I like to study what I do. Every class that I teach, I try to study the format to the fullest. I want to be the best at what I do. I want to try to be the best at what I do." So it all began there. I taught my first class. It was a disaster, but I didn't give up. It just gave me motivation to work harder. And so that's what I strive for every time I do a class, just to make it, harder. Then I started to go to Zumba class. And I'm like, hey, I like this, and the Zumba instructor was awesome. Shout out to Susan Love in the Divas Day Z crew on YouTube. Follow us. And she really inspired me. So I went and did the training. And here I am now doing Zumba and everything else.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, for letting us know that how you ended up falling in love with dancing, because it's a fun way of doing fitness, a fun way working out at the gym. I have a membership at LA Fitness, and I love when me and my son, we go on Saturdays because we get to see all of the classes, and it's crazy just how packed those classes are to everyone that's dancing. So also a part of that dancing is fitness. Now, I used to, when me and Crystal used to work together, Crystal used to eat whatever she wanted to eat. And I used to be like, how? But then she connected, but I always work out. I burn that off. I can have my little, people go on their diets, they have their meal plan. Crystal used to have her little snacks. I'm like, well, she's a Zumba instructor, but I had to put two and two together. Like, well, she's always working out. So even though she do, how people have their cheat day, I felt like you used to have a couple cheat days.
Yeah,
But
I have
you
to have my honey buns in the morning.
but then you go work out. So now that you're doing the dancing, you say you do your study, your information. Why is it that fitness is so important to you? And I ask you that because I remember at the job you would always stress us the importance of working out, whether it's dancing, whether basically get up and move, do something with your body. Just don't be so stagnant. If you get up and move and do something, even if it's just a little dance, and if you really start dancing, you start sweating, your body gonna ache. Why is it so important for you to promote fitness?
Well, promoting fitness. Well, I think it's very important for your health. I mean, that's just the key. Your heart health, your bones, everything you do, you have to build. You have to build your muscles. You have to build your strength. You have to build your breathing. Everything is a process. So that's just one way to accomplish that goal of being healthy. Whether it's, I work with a lot of people and I come across a lot of people who have things that they do not like about their bodies,
Mm-hmm.
the way they eat or whatever. So they come to me and they ask me things they could do or whatever. But the first thing is your dedication. You have to be dedicated. If you're not dedicated to it, it's not going to work. And I always tell them you have to be ready. I cannot tell you to come on, let's dance, and you're not ready. You're not going to stick to it. It has to be something that you are striving for, that you're committed to, and then you will be successful. And try to find things that take the work out of workout. Zumba takes the work out of workout. You don't realize you're working out, you're having
I
fun.
like that.
It's like a party. So that's what it is all about for me, Jermaine.
Wonderful. I like how you say you take the work out of the workout. I've never looked at Zumba like that because when I see it in the gym, I'm like, man, they sweating, they look tired. But it's like a party, it's like fun. And you don't hear a lot of people saying that about, like, to me, banging the weights is fun. That's me. But I've never looked at Zumba from the aspect of it being fun. So I like the fact that you said that. That puts a different spin on it. And I was trying to hold this question, but since you kind of brought us into about the people, you tell them to be dedicated, taking the work out of workout. Have you in your classes since you've been teaching, what's the impact or the change that you've seen in the lives of your students or the community that you're teaching? That, like, what stories have you heard? Have people come to you and say, man, Crystal, thank you for class, for motivating me, I feel better? What are those stories that have been shared with you on the effect and impact that you've had on others' lives? Or how have some of your instructors or those that you dance with in your crew in your class have impacted your life?
Well, it's mind, body, and soul, Jermaine. I have had members come to me. I'll give you a story. There was this member. She came. I was subbing a Pilates class. It was my first time. I don't do Pilates, but it was my first time. So you know what I did? I studied it, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we're gonna rock this class. But it was just me and her in this class, and so she comes in, and I'm telling her, hey, this is my first time. This is your first time. We're gonna kill it together. Let's do it. So we did the class. And I started to see her more often. Later on, she came to me and she was like, Crystal, you changed my life that day. She said, I had just lost my job. I was down. I was depressed, but I came into that class and you motivated me. You lifted me up. And that's why I'm still here today. And it's 5 years later, so
Wow.
that's good. I love it when people come to me and they notice the body transformations because that's what it's all about. When they notice things changing in their body, because I went through the same thing. So I know how it feels. I know the rewards of looking good in your mind, what looking good means to you. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't matter about your weight or your size or how fit you are. It's how comfortable you are in your skin that makes it important. I have people come to me I teach a class called RIPT. It's a strength training class, and it's like sync to the music. So as we start, I'm monitoring all the people in the class, and I'm checking our form and everything, making sure nobody's going to get injured and everything. And what I love about it is the progression.
Mm-hmm.
So they're struggling, they have problems in the beginning, but I'm helping them along the way. I'm there. That's when I'm there. I'm to motivate and inspire. And then when they come back next week, they're able to do 5 sit-ups instead of 3,
Mm-hmm.
without struggling or whatever. And then the next week, give it a couple months, and now they're almost ready to teach the class themselves. So that's the most rewarding part, and that'd be mostly the gist of a lot of the feedback that I get from the members.
Wonderful. Now, as you were explaining that, you said something that caught my attention. People work out. Some people are desiring a certain look, certain body type, whatever. But you just said it's about what looks good to you. And we know we live in a world where some people they can buy to make themselves look a certain way. They can save their money. They can get it tucked in, pulled out, pushed up, whatever they want to do to make themselves look the way that they want to look. And I know you just touched on it a little bit, but I want you to explain a little bit more of that concept of what looks good to you, because this world has given us a view as to what looks, especially on the side of women. The makeup, the hair, all the different. You all have a lot of options on how you all can beautify yourselves, and I think all women are beautiful. But for you to make a statement like that, I would love to hear more people look in the mirror and just be like, I'm fine with it. Like when you get to a place that for me, I look good. I don't have to look like that. I don't have to have the 6-pack abs. I might not have to have the ripped muscles, but I'm in a physical condition where I look good. How do you really I want you to just go more in depth with that what looks good to you, because a lot of people I think miss that concept. And sometimes people work out with the goal of, well, I want to look like him, I want to look like her, and but you may not understand the amount of work it took that person to get there. How do you get that mindset of I'm looking good for me? Like where I'm at right now at this place, this is me.
Well, again, that's where the mind, body, and soul comes into play. It's all about your confidence level. What looks good to you? What makes you feel comfortable in your own skin? Obviously, there's something you wanted to change because you came to the gym. You wanted to start somewhere. And that's what the professionals at the gym are there for, to kind of help you mold into that person that you want to be. To say I want to look like this person or I want to look like that person, it's different. Our genetics are made up differently. So you're
Mm-hmm.
never going to look exactly like some person. Now we have a shadow outline of getting you closer to a healthier you, a lean you, a fit you, however you want to put it. But as much as you should want to be your own person, your own imagery of beauty for you, which is whatever. And when we're living in a society where social media portrays beautiful women as face full of makeup, long
Mm-hmm.
eyelashes,
Come on.
hair weave down your back, big old butt, and a tiny waist. We strive for that. I mean, I'm a fitness instructor and I look at them and I'm like, oh, I want that body. It's a process, but I know I'll never look like that because I don't go under the knife, which is to each his own, you know what I'm saying? But it's what made them comfortable and feel secure in their skin. And that is the goal when you're striving to start your fit journey. So when you get to the point where you're saying, okay, I look good, I feel good, it's really not all about the look, because I could be 150 pounds and the person next to me could be 150 pounds, but she could look totally different
Mm-hmm.
body frame or whatever, because I'm more muscular tone, and then she may have a little more fat on her body. But it's just, I don't know. It's kind of a balance. But like I say, it's all in your mental and your psyche of what makes you feel secure and comfortable in your skin. And there's no blueprint for how you exactly you should look. It's what is works best for you.
Good. So as you're saying that to the listeners out there, when did Crystal get comfortable with her appearance? And you said, because you mentioned earlier in the interview, after you had your babies, you had your kids, You said you're a little bit on the hefty side, so you went to just say maybe your thought, I want to lose a little weight, I want to just get myself back to what I used to. You hear these different things from women when they have babies. When did you get to the point where you was like, I'm fine with the way I look, I'm comfortable with me? And did you ever have, was it a challenge getting there? Did you ever have times when you got to where you wanted to be appearance wise, fitness wise, but then you fell like off, like way off, like you let yourself go? And then if even now, if you're where you want to be at, you cool with it. How do you constantly maintain that look, that appearance, that level of fitness? That do you ever want to give up and just say, I'm sick of working out, I'm tired of dancing, I just want to do whatever and it's cool, I just want to give all that up? When did you get to that point, and how do you continuously maintain that?
Okay, yeah. So when I did have my children, it was about 2 years after my last child, and I decided that I was going to start to work out. My husband is an avid workout guy, so
Mm-hmm.
he's always has been. He always used to try to motivate me, but guess what, Jermaine? I wasn't ready. So we used to go walking and everything, and I'd be like, I ain't going back tomorrow. So it'd be those type of things because I wasn't ready. But at that point, I said to myself, I am ready. So I changed my diet. I started to do a little more cardio and strength training. I started to notice the weight come off. But you know what, Jermaine? Here's the crazy thing. You don't notice how much weight you've lost. It's always someone else who notices it first. So
True.
once your body starts to change, everybody else will really notice it. You're looking at yourself every day. So and it's just inching away. But someone who hasn't seen you in a while and they come back and they're like, oh my God, you're skinny, or something like that. And that's another thing. We have to be conscious in how we compliment people or
Mm,
or
that's
because
good.
some people lose weight and they're not trying to lose weight. Okay, it could be a health condition or something, and some people will be like, oh, you're so skinny, and that may be offending to someone rather than inspiring because maybe they weren't trying to lose that weight. You know what I'm saying? But that was just one thing I wanted to touch on. We have to be kind of conscious in what we say or what we do because people's feelings are involved, and it may be a sore spot for them as well. But back to the subject. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there
Oh,
real.
that was good. We needed that.
Are
Thank you.
special. You are beautiful, and we just working out just accentuates your beauty. It's not your beauty, because you got character, you got style, you got other factors that contribute to making you the person that you are. Okay. But the reason I'm consistent mostly, Jermaine, is because I am an instructor. And I think that is the main thing that keeps me there because I have to do it. It's my job. But I love it. I've always loved music. I've always loved to dance. So that's why Zumba is something, it's not a job for me. It's a hobby. It's something that I enjoy doing. And I think that's how I can stay consistent with it because I love it and I get paid to do it. So that's two pluses right there, right? Can't go wrong with
That's a great motivation. It's a little bit of money involved.
that.
That's always
Yes, every
motivating.
time. Yes.
So you as an instructor, um, I want to ask you about your creative process when you are getting your songs together, your routines. I'm sure I know there's other instructors you work with. I know you said as a child, you and your friend would put routines together, but now with the different classes you do, so that I'm sure there's a goal. You're targeting certain muscles, certain calorie, whatever you target in those classes. I want to know because I know you could probably go and see other people's videos and pick little things, but how original are the routines that you put together? Like, are you sitting at home hearing songs? These, okay, I'm gonna put these steps with them, put this move with it to target this body. Like, what is your creative process? How do you come? Because I've seen your videos, I've seen your YouTubes, and I've always wondered, like, is she really making this stuff up, just creating this stuff? Because it's very well choreographed stuff. I can tell you got your counts. When the song transitions, you go to different moves. And I've noticed when those moves change, you may start with the upper body, but then the beat may change and you target in the lower body. But I never asked when we worked together, but I've always wondered, is she originally creating all this stuff? So what is your creative process that goes into those classes as the instructor that you're giving to everyone else?
Well, Jermaine, there's a formula. So with like every blueprint, you know, you have this formula that you go through. So as far as the Zumba aspect, I hear a song. Every song I hear, Jermaine, and you could attest to this because you work with me and we listen to our music all day. Every song I hear in my head, I am choreographing a Zumba routine. I know it's kind of crazy, but it's just second nature at this point. So I'll hear a song and I might like it, you know, and then I might repeat it over, put it on repeat, and then I'll think of moves to put together that. And then it's kind of like, because you have to think of all the factors. Okay, can we transition from this move to this move smoothly? Will this move work? Just like you said, will it work the lower body? Will it work the upper body? Sometimes we have songs that's directed completely to a fitness aspect. We might do some lunges and some squats. We might have songs that might be more to a rhythm. They're mostly by the rhythm, meaning like we might do African or salsa or merengue or, you know, something along that time. And a lot of times that's how we get the moves, because there's moves for those certain rhythms, but it's all about how you piece them together in that puzzle to get that beautiful picture that you're trying to get at the end. So that's the process. And what's crazy for me is that all the classes that I teach, they are routines basically. So it's like I have 50,000 songs and routines in my head right now. Okay, so it's like it's hard to kind of like remember all this stuff, but the music makes it easy for me because I understand the formula. If you kind of get what I'm saying, because you have every step is a count. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know what I'm saying? So just going by that formula, that's what kind of makes it a little easier for me. But like when you love what you do, it's not hard. You know, it's kind of like a second nature thing.
Well, wonderful. And so as we look at what you're doing presently, what is your ultimate goal or future plans in concerns to you being an instructor? You know, do you want to own your own Zumba center? Do you want to, like, how deep does it go? Do you want to transition to the point where that's all I'm doing is being a fitness instructor? I'm not working for nobody else company, punching nobody clock. That I wake up, it's fitness in the morning, all the way to I shut it down and come home to my family. What is the ultimate goal in regards to being an instructor and working in fitness?
Well, my ultimate goal, as I mentioned before, I am trying to acquire my certified personal trainer license. So I want to take that in all my certifications. I have tons of certifications and I'm just continuously trying to build on them. I want to be able to do everything. I want it to be there where there's nothing I can't do. Okay. And then I want to take my talents and move away and, you know, start my own studio, you know, and you know, just do my own thing there. I do want to be my own boss. I have been punching the clock since I was 14 years old. I don't want to do it anymore. I want to be my own boss. I'm 43, so that tells you how long it's been. So I just want to, you know, be my own boss and do my own thing. I've been instructing for 6.5 years now. That's a long time now that I think about it. And I just want to continue to do that. I love making people feel good about themselves and, you know, building, you know, confidence and just inspiring and motivating, because I'm just that type of person. Some people don't believe that, but I think I'm just a motivating person. I think it goes a long way.
I can attest to that. I worked with her. She's very motivating, very encouraging. So if there's anybody listening that doesn't think Crystal Lamb is a motivator, she absolutely is. So I just personal experience and just seeing how she worked with people and motivated them, I sign off on that as a witness that she is a motivator. So we're going to take a quick turn from the fitness, and thank you for everything that you shared. So you are a Zumba instructor, and I know that takes a lot of time, but you are also a wife, you're a mother, very family oriented person from my time with you. And when I get people on here that have businesses and passions and things they do, but yet they have a family, one of my favorite questions is, where do you find the balance with all of that going on? Because wife, mom, I know your kids are young. It's not like you have grown teenagers that can, you still gotta help them with little things, you gotta husband, and you're yet working full time. You're not part-time, working full time. I've worked for the state. We know how demanding that job can be. How do you keep it all together with all those different hats on and all those different responsibilities? And I'm thinking about routines, but I got to think about the kids need lunch. My husband may need this. I got to go to work and think about this. How do you balance, or have you found the balance in all of it?
I think pretty much to an extent, I think I'm almost there at finding the complete balance. It is definitely a struggle, um, especially working a full time job that can be as stressful as my job can be. And then coming home, and then you have two children close in age who love to torture each other and bicker and make mommy's life rough sometimes, and then cooking and providing and doing the house chores and then heading to the gym to do what I got to do there and then coming back home. Of course, my husband needs his attention. All I can say is off days and vacations. That is basically what's keeping me floating here, because if I did not have them, I would be a wreck. I would be a wreck. It's a lot. It's a lot to take on, but if you're willing, and able, I mean, that's where we're put in on this earth to do. We're put here to be wives and mothers or husband and, whatever. And I'm just doing my due diligence and doing my job. It's all love. I love it. I love what I do. I love being a mom. I love being a wife. I love being a fitness instructor. I just love everything about it. And I have my moments where I'm super tired, but like I say, that's when I
Mm-hmm.
just go on and take a vacation. Needed.
Absolutely. Now, with the kids, have the kids caught on to Zoom? Do they ever want to sit in the living room and work with mom and do the have the kids, has it kind of caught on to them a little bit?
Well, it's funny you say that, because for the last week or so, my daughter has been saying, Mom, I want to go to Zumba class, So this is
Wow,
she's
great.
just now like really trying to do it. She's come down and practice with me when I would be practicing for something, but she wasn't really interested. But now she's starting to show a little interest. My son, on the other hand, he's not interested. It's more video games and sports or whatnot. But my daughter, she's starting to show a little interest. And I think eventually she will catch on. I think she might be one of those to kind of hop on the fitness bandwagon. My son, he is a runner. He's very fast. We call him Sonic around here because he's just a blast of speed. And I think he's going to be more into those type of things, where he's running maybe football or something along that line. But my daughter, I think she's going to be a little more musically inclined and trying to do the things that her mother does. It's inspiring. I love it.
That's what I wanted to get to even next I'm great that you brought that out about your daughter, and that's why I asked that question, because as you said, it is inspiring. I think as parents, in your mind you have a vision for your children, but sometimes they do what they want to do. They go into different things, but even as it's inspiring, how much more does that mean? Because I love to see the relationship between mother daughter, father son, because it's like you see sometimes a little mini you, or you see little things about you in that child, and you don't want, as a parent, you don't want to harp on it like, oh, you just like me, because you want them to find their own way. But it's a little something inside of you, like me. My son is an excellent football player, better than what I ever was. But I remember when he did skateboard and baseball, and I'm thinking, man, he gonna never play football. That's dad's sport. But now he's so engulfed in it, and I try to downplay him on the inside. I be like, yes, I'm so happy. Yes, he did exactly what I wanted him to do. So even with the inspiration, just to have her have that interest, is that little part of you and mom saying, "Oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm so happy she's right there. I can see her running the studio with me." Like, we kind of, as parents, we be thinking 20 years ahead. But do you feel that now that she's getting that interest in it, like you just want to say, girl, let's just start the whole business now. We could do it.
Yes, it kind of makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside, because you're like, whoa, she's paying attention to what I'm doing. She's showing interest in what I'm doing. And it's kind of like rewarding, like, hey, okay, she's gonna find her way. I want her to find things that she's interested in on her own. I don't want her to be exactly like her mother, but I would love it, it will make me happy if she kind of veered along that line, but she's her own person and I want her to do what makes her happy, not just because Zumba makes me happy, but like I said, she's been talking, showing a little interest, but we'll see how it goes when she gets in there and starts getting her dance on.
Wonderful. And you as a person now, I remember you said that you study what you do. You're certified. So at some point you had to take some classes to learn to do this properly. Because some people would think I could go out there and teach, I can go out there and instruct. I don't need the class. There's always an educational component of things like this. So I'm looking at you as a mom, you're a businesswoman, and you're even evolving now into entrepreneurship, to being an entrepreneur down the line also. And you've put in the work, you put in the training. How often do you get the opportunity to sit and explain that side of it? Because people see the dancing, the motivating, the fitness, but there's a whole nother side that a lot of people don't realize. Yo, I had to study to do. I had to sit down and train my mind. And if I'm thinking about opening up in a studio, now I got to run the business. If I have other instructors, I have to pay them. So I have to be a financial person. I have to do all this stuff. How often do you get to sit and explain to people that side of it? Because if you're just looking at it, man, Crystal's having fun. She dancing. She motivating people. But how often do you get to tell people, whoa, if you want to get into this, it ain't just that. You have to sit down and you got to learn a few things. And if you're talking about opening up a studio, that's all other. And I think you're a great businesswoman because just to manage everything that you're managing right now, you have to have a very good organizational mindset, a business mindset. You have to deal with people. How often do you get to really explain to people the depth on that side of it?
Not too often, Jermaine, to be honest, because I do get to explain those type of things when they're interested in doing it themselves. I get to kind of give them a little insight on what to expect and what what the programs entail or whatnot. But I also a lot of the things like a lot of the classes when I do my classes, I'm explaining a lot as I go. I had a member come to me just last week and say she enjoyed coming to my classes. She enjoyed how I explained every movement, how I explained how it, what body parts it works, what it does for their body and everything. And she was telling me how my form looked good, and my members, they inspire me as well, because it just shows me that I'm doing my job. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, but other than that, I don't really get to go into depth of how you acquire the certifications. You'll be in a class as a Zumba instructor. It's an 8-hour class, 8 hours through the whole day. And the time I got certified, it was during the pandemic, so it was online.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's like it's a little rough online because they're not exactly right there in front of you, but it was a challenge, but it was worth it. It was worth it. Like all the certifications that I did, it was about 8 hours of training. And then as far as the instructor licensing, that takes months. And then you have to test. You have to pass a test. You have to pay to take the test. And then you have to pass the test. And you can only fail maybe twice or whatnot. But you only get 2 chances to take it. So that's that can be worrisome right there because you're worried about failing. You don't want to fail, but everything is a process. You learn, and you go further. You just keep trying, just keep pushing.
Wonderful. Thank you for that insight on that. And if anybody's thinking about getting into this, that's why I pointed that out because those that are hearing, that are listening, they will understand that it's more than just dancing. It's more than just fitness. There's a whole another side of it. And now, before we get to the end, I want to ask you this. I know it was a little while ago, being working with you, I consider myself a friend. I know that you lost your mother. And what I want to ask you is that I believe with the way you talked about your mom, beautiful person, beautiful relationship you had with her, I know she was one of your biggest supporters. And we know I've lost my mom, but one thing that keeps me going, and like I tell people all the time, it's been 11 years. I miss her every day. Wish she was here to have a conversation. But a lot of things I do in my life because I know she would be proud of me. That's my motivation to keep pushing in certain areas of my life. Because if mom was here, she would be celebrating, cheering her baby boy on. That keeps me going. That keeps me pushing because I know she would want me. How much does it mean when you think of your mother and that said that if she was here to see all that I'm doing, all that I'm going into, does that keep you motivated and keep you pushing and going forward, even though she's not here physically? But if she was here, she would have her hands up, raised like Crystal, keep going forward, keep building, keep progressing. Does that motivate you and keep you going in everything that you're doing?
Oh, definitely. My mother was my biggest fan, my biggest supporter. She even paid for my Zumba certification. So that goes to show you how much of
Wow.
a support system she
Wonderful.
was. So everything that I do, I dedicate to my mom. She was a very important person in my life. She was my best friend. She still is my best friend. There's
Yes.
nobody like her. I strive to be like her because she was such a beautiful person, just a beautiful soul. And I'm comforted in knowing that she's at peace, no more pain. And that, I know she's watching over me. I know she's proud. I know she's proud of her only girl, baby girl. So her princess, as she called me growing up. So I know she'd be very proud. And I'm just thankful, just blessed that I was blessed to have her as my mother because she was one heck of a person. For real. She really was.
Well, thank you for sharing for that. I thought that was beautiful. And another thing that I want the listeners to know that when we lose those that mean the most to us, and to know that she invested in you, that means she believed in everything you were doing. So one way we can honor the memory of those we've lost, parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles, we got to keep going in the stuff we we're doing. And some of us have those same stories. They invested in what we were doing. They put the money down. They did this for us. So to honor them and to dedicate their memory and to keep their legacy going, we got to keep building on them, that investment, to let them know you invested in the right thing, because I'm going to keep this going. So thank you for sharing that. And before we go, tell us what's going on with the Zumba classes, where people can follow you, your group. Just give that information to all of the listeners out there so they can stay in contact. And hopefully this is going to drive people to your Zumba classes.
All right. Well, they can find me at the Hammond YMCA in Hammond, Indiana, at 5 o'clock on Thursdays for Brit. You can find me Tuesdays at 7:15 for Strong Nation, which is a hit class, sync to music. It's a program made by Zumba, but it's more plyos and kickboxing type things. It's the body
Mm-hmm.
transformation. It's an awesome class. And you can find me on your TV screen. I live stream every Wednesday on the YMCA national platform called YMCA 360. If you go to ymca360.org and just log in, if you're a member, if you're a YMCA member, it's free. Wherever you are in the country, it's a free member benefit, and you can join in and catch me at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. You can find me at the Zumba with Susan on Mondays, 6:15. And you can contact me on Facebook, Crystal Lamb, Instagram, Chris Nicky, CRISNICCI, TikTok, Chris Nicky. I have some step routines on YouTube and you can find me under the name Step Sis Chris, STEPSISCRIS. if you want to get your step on. And I have a Strong Nation YouTube channel that's under my name, Crystal Lamb. And you can follow us, the Zumba crew, our Zumba crew, um, at Divas Day Z Crew on YouTube. DIVASDEZCREW. I hope to see you guys at one of my classes, or you're commenting on our videos or something, so I know you're there. I'd be very happy for you to join us someday.
Wonderful. Thank you for all of that information, Crystal. I want you all to go follow her on everything she told you about. You will not be disappointed. I believe she has a passion for this. She does it with her entire heart. And so, Crystal, we want to thank you for being a part of our show today for the celebration of excellence. Thank you for having a level of excellence in the community, for helping those get their bodies in shape, their mind, their spirit, whatever they need. Thank you for being someone that's out in the community helping others, because not everybody's willing to step out. Like I said, you got your own stuff going on, work, family, but thank you for extending yourself to those that need it and helping them to better themselves in multiple ways. You are greatly appreciated, and just wanted to bring you on here to exemplify that excellence, to celebrate you, and to thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Jermaine, for having me. It's truly an honor, and congratulations on your podcast and everything you're doing. You're doing big things yourself. I'm proud of you. I
Um,
mean, you left us, but hey, you're doing big things, so it's all good. But
uh,
thank you for having me. It's an honor and a privilege, and I'm just thankful. Thanks, Jermaine.
Oh, you're very welcome. And remember, you all, you're going to see this live on Facebook. You're going to see it live on my YouTube. It's going to be live on the New Beginnings podcast with Jay Jackson. I need you to go follow that to not only hear Crystal, but those others that have been celebrated and more to come. So thank you again, Crystal. Hope you all are going to be getting your Zumba on. Please follow her, comment. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. This is another episode of the Celebration of Excellence, and we will see you next time. Everybody have a great one out there.